Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the importance of having a checklist in your mind for the squat, right? And what I mean by a checklist is this process that you go through each and every time you get under the bar. And this process is something that you can rely back on whenever you're under stressful situations, right? So as an example, if you watch my setup for my videos and my squats, it is the same every time, right? Down to the little nuances of, latching my belt, what hand I grab the bar with, and pulling the bar into me, and all of these steps to get set up for the squat. And this is important because especially my style as a lifter in training, I don't use a whole lot of emotion. But if you've ever seen me compete, I like to bring the emotion level up, right? I feed off of the crowd. I get in my own head. Heck, I'll be crying sometimes, right, on the platform because the emotion's up there. Now, for some lifters, especially newer lifters, including myself, right, if I brought that emotion level up there and didn't have this ingrained process of steps that I do for each of my lifts every single time, then my technique would get thrown off whenever I tapped into that emotional energy. So if you can teach yourself to do the same steps over and over again, then you're going to increase your consistency and allow yourself to go to that next level of bringing adrenaline into the system and not having your technique go all over the place. So for this video, I wanted to take a look at my squat setup, and I'll walk you through exactly what I'm trying to do, for my setup, the reasoning for this, because part of the reason for having steps is to have a specific goal for each one of those steps. And I just want us to take a look at that, and then, we'll kind of call it there. But I am a big believer in having this process that you go through. And if you watch all of the top lifters, they have the same process that they do every single time, whether it be a warm-up, 70 kilos, or a max attempt, 350 kilos, etc. So here I have my squat setup really slowed down. Notice the first thing I do is set my hands very specifically. I put my pointer finger on the power ring on both sides. That's just to make sure that I am even with the bar. Then I place my feet a little bit behind the bar and then pull my chest forward to align myself. And then what I'm doing here is actually just trying to wedge myself and wedge that bar into that low bar position, trying to create as much tension as possible. Now here you'll see me take a big breath and brace and stand up with the bar, right? Then I let it settle. Once the bar's settled a little bit, I take 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and at that point I am ready to start the lift, right? That is the most efficient way that I can set up my squat. So I just have another one here, right? This is a different set, but you'll see it's the same thing. Set my fingers. I will set my feet and then pull myself into the bar to center myself. And then I'll get under the bar to really push myself into position. And then I will use that tension to take a brace. All right, so right here, I'm going to brace into my belt, stand up with it. And especially once you start to get heavier, it's important to let that weight settle. Let the whip stop before you start taking your steps. I specifically take 3 steps to my walkout, and then I'm set up for the squat, right? And by having this consistent setup, it allows for me to be a more consistent lifter and make less mistakes on the platform. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do as powerlifters. Okay, so hopefully that gave you some insight as far as what I am thinking for my squat setup and my process. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Check out my others. And until next time, happy lifting.